Hi everyone, it's Evee Angeline here at etrailer, and today we are looking at our Kuat NV 2.0 base version here on our 2021 Ford Bronco Sport. This is a great bike rack if you want something that has a lot of weight capacity and all the premium features you need, as well as a really cool heavy-duty look to match your brand new Bronco Sport. Now let's take a look at how this bike rack works. One of its features is that it can tilt away. To do so, you're going to have to pull this lever and then tilt down on the bike rack just like that. And you'll want to tilt it down if you want to access your trunk. So here you can see how, with our door open, let's get that open right there. You can see how it does come close, but we still have clearance between our door and our bike, allowing us to get into our trunk, grab whatever we want, like our bags, our water, our helmets, without having to take our bike off. If you do have longer handlebars, you can also just open up the window with it tilted away to get that clearance. Now to bring it back into position, just lift it up and it snaps into place. Now let's take a look at the way our bike is mounted to this bike rack. So here in the back we have this rear wheel strap that's holding it down to this tray. You can see at this tray we also have a cable lock that comes out to secure that bike. So if you want to take that wheel strap off, press that button, lift up on the strap and leave it to the side so it's out of the way. Here in the front, I have a carbon frame bike, so it's really nice because then I have that front wheel clamp and I don't have to worry about warping the frame. Also, if you have alternate frame bikes like your step-throughs, your women's bikes, your children's bikes, this is a really nice feature because then you don't need a frame adapter bar. So to take that off, you press this button, pull up on that hook, and just push it out. And then from here, you just lift up on your bike and you are ready to go on a bike ride. Now with that bike off, let's take a look at the bike rack itself. I talked about that rear wheel strap. Another thing to note is that it does have a nice lining on the inside to protect your bike's wheel, and this comes down and ratchets down to secure that wheel. You have this tray design, so if you do have your heavier bikes, this has a weight capacity of 60 pounds per bike. I highly recommend picking up the Axis ramp. That will allow you to ramp up your bike. If it is heavier, it's a great feature to have. Makes life a lot easier. Here in the front, we have that front wheel clamp. It is lined on the inside just to hold on to your different tires as well as to protect them. And this also ratchets down to secure those tires. Now let's take some measurements here on our vehicle. Let's take some measurements as to how much length is added to the back of it. So let's measure from our rear bumper all the way to the end, and it sits at 29.5 inches out. So that's length added to the back of your vehicle. Something to think about when you're trying to back into your garage or we're trying to park into a really tight spot. Let's also take a look at ground clearance. So this does have a shank rise. So measuring underneath the trays where your bikes are sitting is going to be a ground clearance of 22.5 inches. Now measuring over by the shank, it's going to be a measurement of 13 inches. Now ground clearance is something you'll want to know if you're going up a really steep incline like a driveway or a hill, or if you're taking this off-roading, you might be concerned about ground clearance, but that's a really good measurement. Now let's fold this up. To fold it up, you pull this lever and just fold it up just like that. And let's take some measurements. Closest point between our bike rack and our vehicle is from the bumper to the arm, and that's going to be 3 inches of space. It's pretty short, but since this doesn't move, you don't have to worry about contact at all. Another thing is from your bumper, and now your length added is going to be about 14 inches. Big difference compared to when it was folded down. You definitely want it in this position when you are driving around town. Now one thing to note is you do have your backup camera right over here on your Sport, and that's in line with the NV, so you may experience that backup camera is covered, but your tail lights are completely open as well as your rear window, although your license plate is slightly obstructed. Let's also talk about how this fits into our hitch. So the Kuat NV comes in 1.25 inch or 2-inch solid shank. We have the 2-inch version right here to fit into our 2-inch hitch receiver. It comes with a hitch pin and a lock. That lock is key to the cable locks found on the trays. That way you can secure both your bikes and your bike rack. It's a tool-free install. You just pop it in and you tighten it down here at this anti-rail knob at the back, and that way it extends a ball cam. So as I shake this bike rack to simulate that sway and that rattle on the road, you can see how I'm kind of shaking the car now, and that shows that you will have a smoother ride because you don't have extra sway added from the bike rack. Alright, so my final thoughts about this bike rack is, one, it looks amazing here on our Bronco Sport. It definitely matches the sporty, heavy-duty look that your vehicle has, but it also works really well. It tilts away. You can see that we had clearance with our door open, and it's very quick and easy to use. Also, it has that really extra heavy weight capacity if you do have your heavier e-bikes. So that was a look here at the Kuat NV 2.0 base version here on our 2021 Ford Bronco Sport.